Yo, dude, did you have you been paying attention to any of that Andrew Schultz stuff?
Other than what you sent me, I have not. But I
Yeah.
mean, I did just see a couple of not headlines, but social
Yeah.
media
Call outs.
responses.
Yeah.
Um, where this one girl was like, I guess the two black guys who were on it
Shits and
from
giggles.
Shits and Gigs, James and Fuhad. She was like, this is the stereotypical like coon and black man who dances for the white man and never sticks up for the black woman.
Yeah.
I didn't see the whole clip, so I'm kind of don't really want to comment on it. But what you shared with me, the Pivot podcast response to it, we
I
could
thought it
get
was
into
good.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they brought up a good point. I think the lead, not the lead dude, but the dark-skinned dude with the short hair. I forgot his name.
Which one? It's two guys. Not Fred with the hat on.
Yeah, the other dude.
Ryan Clark.
Yeah, Ryan really made a point like, I think sometimes what was funny was that he was making a point of how black male culture in the United States would have checked Andrew Schultz at a different level. And black male culture in the UK, he said, appears to be different, where they were just rolling with it because for them, they were happy to be in that spot.
Yeah.
So they were just going along with it. In addition to Andrew Schultz is a comedian, he's gaining more and more traction. He's funny, he's engaging for most people. And that then becomes, how do I respond to this in an intelligent but also fun way? Because I'm appreciative to be here, and I'm just going along with his jokes. And it was awkward for them because I think even for them, and people forget this as Black Americans overseas structure their lives differently around race and racism than we do here in the United States. And their response or reaction to certain issues around race and race relations are just totally different than ours. Evidenced by Tyler, right? Water, make me sweat. She was just like, I'm not black, I'm colored. Well, she's from South Africa, so she's going to say that because she is colored according to their racial hierarchies. You come over here and people be like, just get in the line with everyone else.
With every other black person.
Yeah, exactly. Well, technically I'm cut. And if you don't get in the line, what we're going to do is, you see that guy over there getting that water hose on him with that German Shepherd biting his ass? That's going to be you. Okay, yeah, you got in line. That's what I thought.
Want that 1/8 rule applies to you too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Talking about, I'm colored, so my white one. And guess what? My great-grandpappy had a bunch of black ones, and I got them on that line getting hosed down too. So you can go on and just keep doing it, man. Nigga
wake-up call.
Exactly. And then I think what happens is some of the foreign-born blacks that I speak to who come from these different racial hierarchies or stratifications resent it. And I'm like, well, what do you think we do? We enjoy it? You think that we enjoy being over here, existing in this bubble of race and racism? Yeah, we participate in it, but it's not like we generated it. It didn't generate from black culture. Black culture, being black, was given to us. How the freak am I supposed to navigate it? I'm just here trying to get through it like everyone else is trying to get through it. So I just think that was an interesting piece. But Andrew Schultz, when I first got to know him, it was over the Leslie Jones kerfuffle that happened, several years ago, 2015, 2016, last decade, where she was talking about being a black woman. Andrew Schultz was like, nah, I don't see all that. He's like any other comedian. He has biases. Dave Chappelle said this in the Kennedy Awards honors, where some comedians will say some jokes and he's like drinking and smoking. He's like, and people think that he's joking, but I'm like, that nigga means that shit. It's a joke. It's said in joke form, but that nigga means that shit. If it's about women, gays, Asians, blacks, whites, whatever, that person means it. And Andrew Schultz, I don't know if he means it, but it definitely had, to me, it's not that it wasn't funny, but it was something else behind that. And it's interesting because he went to Wagner Middle School, which is in the 70s here in New York City, for those who don't know. And at the time, he's about 2 or 3 years younger than me. So I'm born in 80. He's about 83. And he had to be, at that time, one of the few white kids going to that school on the Upper East Side. It was like a middle school, and it was known for the business. So I'm sure he went in there on some, who's the guy from Kill Tony, who was like an all-black school, all-black neighborhood, Youngstown, Ohio.
Let me mind my P's and Q's.
I'm just not going to take these L's anymore. I'm coming to school, and I'm going to give it to this dude from Uptown. I'm going to give it to this black dude from over here. So he may just have a different vantage point about engaging blackness from a New York City perspective than some black people do in other places. Like Nims, right? He's from here, he's Puerto Rican Irish, and he used the N-word. And he said on, No Jumper podcast, I go other places and use the N-word, and they're like, yo, he's too aggressive. And they're like, why is this white guy using the N-word? But he's like, I'm from New York where, everyone uses the N-word. Chinese people, Russian people, they call each other. And they're not even talking to black people. They're talking to each other. I saw this nigga the other day. And that's what Adam 22 jumped in and said, when I moved to New York, I noticed everyone was using the N-word. Like 2 white guys playing squash would be using the N-word in Central Park, or,
Right.
playing tennis. At the time, there was no pickleball, but tennis, they'd be calling each other the N-word. So I wonder if his New York politic also and lens is in his analysis of these jokes and navigating blackness and black women, which some people just say is inappropriate regardless.
I think it's also like you brought up before, some people who are a part of the culture think they're of the culture, and they get comfortable and may think that they can make certain jokes or comments just from being around a whole bunch of black people. I look at Fat Joe, he's the same way. He was like, yo, the way the projects where he grew up was like 80, almost 90% black. And he grew up saying nigga, using the N-word all his life. So it wasn't, this kind of culture shock to him when he got big to still be using it in his rhymes.
I mean, but I see also Fat Joe would say Latino people are black, which is a big argument black people were saying back in the 80s when we were growing up. When you had Latino immigrants like, no, me no black, papi, me no black. Nigga, you darker than my grandmother.
Yeah, but I think it kind of goes along the lines of saying blackness is not judged by skin color. Some people will say, yo, I'm indigenous to this country, and yes, I may have a darker skin tone, but if it weren't for the Spaniards colonizing or the Dutch colonizing or the British colonizing, we would still have this skin color, but we wouldn't call ourselves or identify as black the way Black Americans do. So I understand why sometimes they want to distinguish, but at the same time, I can understand why some black people are like, well, nah, you're still part of the diaspora.
Yeah. And I've had now it's funny, the college educated first generation Latinos who've gone through an African and African American studies course, who learned about triangular slave trade, sugar, rum, all that jazz, will say, no, I'm black. I'm just not black like African American. So now there is a switch to, I embrace blackness, just not on your terms, on my terms. So I recognize my black as my African roots. I'm a person of African descent. And I think, again, all that is a part of what's happening with these dudes. It's just interesting, man, because they did seem awkward, and they were talking about Yoruba and Hausa and Igbo and, the various different ethnicities within the Nigerian nation and within Nigeria. It's, I think Andrew Schultz was just being Andrew Schultz, and part of Andrew Schultz's approach is being irreverent and just kind of like, you're a Jew, you're Italian, you're dumb this, you're dumb that, fill in ethnic slur here. And that could be ethnic slur against, white ethnics, whoever they are, right? Irish or Italian, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think that's how he was being for a lot of people. Like Nims was saying, you go down south and people are like, we don't play that shit over here.
Yeah. certain places they don't play that shit.
I don't care what black group gave you a visa to enter into their community. Your visa wasn't approved here. You got stopped at customs.
You don't get a pass over here.
Here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Here in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to take chairs to people who don't move their boats in enough time. So don't come in here talking about, I know, Ramik, and then go take that back up to Ramik up there. Down here? But I feel like every community does that. I could be cool with a group of whatever, insert white ethnic group, Irish, Italian, European, Jewish people of European descent, and I go somewhere else and be like, yo, this is how I get down over there. And they're like, yo, son, them dudes may appreciate you over here, but down here where we're at, or up here where we're at, up here in Boston,
you catch that news, bro.
Yeah, we don't, you may be cool with them Irish Jews over there, but up here, you're going to have to show yourself. No one's here to vouch for you. No one's here to bring you in the community. So be easy.
Yeah.
Tread lightly.
I mean, I feel like that should be kind of a mindset you should take anywhere you
I agree.
go. That's not yours. That's not your home. I feel like just like being street smart is like, yo, I'm not from here. Like you said, let me walk easy. Let me be in slow motion, observe, see what's going on. Let me just not come out here and try to act familiar, or act like I'm from here and trying to be talking all.
Perfect.
Don't do that.
Yeah. it's funny, two things. One, I was talking to my boy, shout out to Eric Mathalia, but he's been, all over across the world. And one of the things he talks about is when he goes to some of these places overseas, especially in Asia, he's like, I'm not partying. I remember one time we were talking and I was like, oh, where'd you go? He's like, yo, son, didn't I tell you? I go from the hotel to where I do business, back to the hotel. He's like, I may go to the hotel bar for a little bit and it's one or two drinks and I'm okay, taking in the scene. And I'm back up trying to see what's happening. What is Hong Kong TV like? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? This is what you hear in Colombia now with some of these guys coming down to Americans and you trying to blaze someone's sister, cousin, aunt, mom, and you on Tinder swiping and, some of you guys are getting got. You gentrification, you come in, you stay there for 6 months, you jacking up the prices. I used to live here. My grandmother lived and I can't afford to live here. And then you come in here running up in there, our women try to do some kind of, porno. And now, homie.
You in a snuff film.
Yeah. You know what? You're over there telling your cousin on WhatsApp, have him meet you over here. And then we'll meet him over there. And then.
Like Wayne said, what started as a hookup turns into a setup.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then we'll see if you really are that dedicated to being in Colombia because you're about to be a part of Colombia.
You want to be a passport, bro? Okay. Yeah. I got you. Let's see if they find your passport.
Yeah, exactly. When we're done with you. When we're done with you, you're going to really know what it really means to fly first class.
Yeah. Listen, y'all be careful when y'all traveling, please.
Yeah, seriously. And I think
you almost had a crazy situation in Puerto Rico.
What happened?
So like one morning, right? This happened 2 times in a row. One morning, I'm in the gym. Back to my room to the gym. I still got my headphones on, but I'm about to take a shower. But like when I come back to my room, I'm naked. I'm in the bathroom about to take a shower, but I still got my headphones on, still jamming to the music. Now, I'm assuming the cleanup lady knocked on the door. I'm assuming she knocked on the door. But again, I got my headphones on, come out the bathroom. She's in the room. We both, oh shit. I go back in the bathroom. She starts walking towards the door. And she says, do you want service today? And I just yelled out, yes. She yelled it, walking that way. I said, yeah. I'm like 2-3 minutes into taking my shower and I turn around. She's in there cleaning up. Son, she makes no bones about me being naked in the shower, nothing. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is what's going to happen right now. So, I went, did my thing. She left, finished cleaning. She left. The next day, the same thing happens, like 2 hours later, though. So I'm like, not thinking, different time. I ain't think it was going to happen. Same thing happens, right? I come out, oh my God, somebody's in my room cleaning up. And she leaves. And about an hour later, I get a call. And it's from the hotel management. Hey, we're just calling to investigate a situation or scenario that happened. The cleanup person said that you were naked in the room and she was afraid. And I'm like, she was afraid. But they were talking about the person yesterday who actually stayed and cleaned up while I was in the shower. So I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute now. Why, if she was afraid, number one, if she saw that I was still in the room, why would she come back and clean it? And 2, why would she stay there the whole time I'm in the shower and then report that she was afraid? And in my mind, I'm like, yo, son, you not from here? Like, it could be on some, like, you don't know what the reasons are.
Running games, because hotel people run games.
Oh, absolutely. And it was like, I had called my friend who's from Puerto Rico and was staying there. She was like, yo, listen, sometimes the colorism is real in these Latin American countries, just so you know, or U.S. territories. And like, yo, just watch yourself over there. Mind your P's and Q's. And it just put me in the mindset of like, yo, even though you might think you're right, because this is your room, you have the right to be naked in your room if you want to. You don't know local customs and culture over there. Like, yo, don't come out there being outright arrogant or dismissive about what was being reported or have some kind of righteous indignation that you think you're going to go down to management office and talk them down. And son, don't go down there like that.
What I'm saying to you, right, to do the hands right, what I'm telling you right now is you ain't going to have nobody in my room. I paid my bill. I paid my bill.
Bro, they were like, if it's reported again that you're naked in your room when the cleaning person is there, we're gonna have to leave. Like, you're gonna have to leave. We'll have to escort you out. We'll have security escort. And I was like, how? First of all, your investigation wasn't an investigation. Y'all basically believed what they said, and y'all are calling me like I'm really the problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't no investigation like y'all got both sides and then deduced what happened. It seemed like y'all had already made up your mind about what happened. But to your point about just, not being from these places and walking around there like you own it, or you from here and you just get to do what you want to do and let your nuts hang and flex it. Nah, bro. You could
going
become
here
a
in the cab,
story.
you going there in the cab. And, basically our currency is stronger than theirs. So you balling out,
Right.
you feeling yourself, you're at home, you make
People
it.
watching you. Oh, okay. Money out here. You balling.
Yeah, you
Or
can't,
drinks. Okay.
exactly.
You got 3 chicks over there buying everybody drink. Oh, okay. We watching.
And I just got fired from my job, at the local airport here. And talking about, got furloughed, talking about, we don't know when you're going to come back. All right.
Mess around and be a headline in tomorrow's paper, son. I was not trying to be that. Even though I was like, yo, I know I'm right because I'm in my room in the comfort of my room. I should be able to do what I want to do.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like people get a little carried away with it. They get carried away with it. And this is the thing I think some people don't realize when we were talking about passport bro culture is you go to these places, man, this is somebody's family. This is a human being, number one, right? So let's just keep it real. Because sometimes we have a hard time, in my opinion, this is just how I'm going to flow, looking at women just as human beings. But this is a human being. This is an individual as a family, maybe connected. Even if they're not that connected, they're in some kind of community. And you're just going to go over there and usurp, someone's position in their life, or someone's, access to them just because you got dough. Don't think that, you got dough, but you ain't powerful. It's not like you got the chief of police in your pocket and you got, people who can just escort you to the airplane. Come on, let's get back to my private jet. Let's get the fuck out. Let's get out of here.
You got Chief Quimby in your back.
Yeah, exactly. Guys. My Chief
Not
Quimby
like you
voice.
got the mayor on your payroll.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I am the mayor
like
of
Luciano, son.
Springfield.
You're not Tommy Lucchese. You're
Yeah. You're not going to get an escort to the airplane and then people like, this will not be a problem next time you come back. We promise you, my friend. My friend, that's not going to happen. You're going to get to the airport and a bunch of dudes going to be like, now, surround that joint.
What were you saying? What were you saying? Oh, okay. Yeah, take them drawers off.
Yeah.
Major cavity search right now. And I dare you to try to oppose it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we got a prison. We'll put you under a prison that's in a prison that's in a prison.
With what army?
Yeah. So now you at the American embassy, knock on heaven's door.
Oh my goodness!
No, seriously, man.
Somebody call down to Trump.
Can someone get Joe Biden on the call? I don't need regular Joe Biden. I need Dark Brandon. Yeah, Dark Brandon is like. Dark Brandon looking at the phone like, you tried to go in there and beat, didn't you? You can stand there and cool off for a little bit.
Right, cool in the jets.
I got real niggas like journalists in other countries who are unjustly imprisoned. I'm trying to get out. I ain't got time for no dude who went in there trying to run up in a couple of women, be unscrupulous and be a scoundrel. And now you looking for help in the pit? Nah, son, you going to have to work that out in the pit, homie.
You're going to have to call in them angels like Daniel did in the lion's den. Like,
shut the lion's mouth.
We're not going to get you out, but we'll shut the lion's mouth.
Exactly. Because there's other things in that pit besides lions. So we'll take care of the lions, but that's 15%. You're going to have to deal with the 85 that's down there, homie.
You got to stay in there.
Yeah. You ain't going to be up there talking about Nebuchadnezzar like, Raheem, are you okay? I'm calling down to my friend. That's not, ain't going to be that.
Ain't going to be none of that. None of that.
Ain't no one calling down to you.
Not at all.
You get 3 meals a day.
If that.
My boy had told me this crazy story. I think I might have said it to you before. I think this is like back in the aughts, 04, 05. My boy's brother was listening to a podcast about this guy who was in China. He was visiting. He's an American, white American. And he was playing soccer, like a pickup game of soccer, the way dudes pick up game of basketball, anything. Playing, it's going well, it's going fun, he's having a good time. He goes to kick the ball, a guy goes to move, he kicks the guy in the face, breaks his nose. Boom.
Damn.
Blood. So sorry, my gosh. Please forgive me. So a bunch of people huddle up, check the dude, push him away a little bit. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Everyone's, talking in Mandarin. They come back to him. Yo, it's good. He said, man, anything I could do, I'll take you to the hospital. I'll pay for it. Like, yo, just give me $2,000. I said, what? Give me dollars. He's like, yo, I don't, I'm not from here, but that's not how things work back in the United States. I'm not going to give you $2,000. He's like, no. It's cool. Just give me $2,000 and this is over with.
Oh, your man said you're not in Kansas City.
Yeah, hey, you trying to pull that? Yeah, I don't know. This ain't Kansas City, Missouri, homie. This ain't Des Moines, Iowa. This ain't Davenport, Iowa. This ain't Truth and Consequences.
Man.
So dude goes, listen, give me $2,000. You can call the police. You call the cops. I guess he felt bold and called the cops. Cops come. They, cops are trying to do the investigation. Okay, what's happened? What's happened to feel? Oh, hit in my face, blood. Comes back. Cop goes, okay, no problem. So he walks over to me. He goes, look, it's an accident. It's not a big deal. Give him $2,000. He's like, no. What is this? A shakedown? I'm not giving you $2,000. Cops are like, listen, if you don't give the $2,000, you're going to prison. You're going to jail here. He goes, it's going to be what it is. I'm not giving him $2,000. Okay, hands behind the back, normal routine. He goes to jail. Now this dude's in a Chinese jail over an accident that happened on a soccer field. He was like, yo, that jail was ruthless.
I can imagine.
Ruthless.
Especially towards him.
Yeah, so he's in there with a bunch of dudes. They get served rice once in a while. They would have to take the rice and throw it down the toilet, flush it down the toilet. Otherwise, the rats will come up the pipes and be like, hey, yo, y'all done messed up. We haven't gotten fed in like 2 or 3 hours. So everybody in here is getting bit. Rats come out, man. So they had to, pay their tithe. They come back, well, you ready to pay $2,000? He said, I'm not paying that $2,000. He was standing on business, whoever this dude was. I'm not paying that $2,000. I guess he worked some red tape, got through some bureaucracy. I don't know if he worked at the American Embassy, but he eventually got out and, made it back to the United States and was telling the story. Like, just the whole point of, you're in these foreign countries and you think you're moving a certain way, but if you're not careful, what's going to happen? I mean, God rest his soul, that's what happened to Malcolm X's grandson. I think it happened a year after me and you saw him when he came through to the church we were attending. He did that big fatherhood event. It was like a year to that day. Like it was a little bit like 12 months after, where he went down to Tijuana, allegedly. I mean, he wasn't in Tijuana, but allegedly, what I'm about to say happened. He was partying and drinking, women are hanging out. Dude comes up to him and was like, yo, homie, that's not free. That costs money. That's $1,200.
Talking about the women?
Yeah, the women and the drinking, everyone's getting everyone involved. They start handing you stuff and you think you're just having a good time. And your man Richard Valentine and the limo and trading places. Let me get some of that. You sitting there like this with the cigars and the liquor. And they're like, oh yeah, you over here doing the King Tut pros. Well, guess what? You about to be like King Tut unless you don't pay that $1,200. You about to be in a sarcophagus. It ain't going to be that made of gold. I guess, he had a history back and forth. They killed him. I think his associate. Down in Tijuana, yeah. So, I mean, just like you go to these countries and you think you're going to the club and you're going to these spaces, but if you don't have a guide or somebody with you to really just protect you and keep you safe and just be like, nah, I'm vouching for this person. And that goes back to the whole Andrew Schultz comment, flagrant, what is it, different podcast. I think a lot of times we have these conversations and into these spaces. For example, even me and you on this podcast, we've had numerous conversations about Black women. Even me and you have to get a visa to walk into Black women's, community. And we come from Black women. We come from a Black woman's birth canals. And it's like, I don't even get the right to just walk into a Black woman's community and be like, all right, you know what? You over there, put it down. Put it down. Your man Axel Foley and Bill Scott too. You over there, stop working. You stop blogging. I said stop blogging.
Everyone, stop working.
Stop working. I'm telling you, I need to see the plans for the Black women community. Everyone stop working. It don't work like that.
Yeah. I mean, not to come in and regulate. If you're talking on some commentary stuff, I feel
dialogue,
like...
yes, but commentary where I'm just going to be like, yo, you know who's a real blankety blank piece of whatever, and just start commenting on Black women, they'll have your badge for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Your black card will be on. You might as well just go to black court at that point. Just not even go home. Like, just go straight to black court.
It's not even revoked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just canceled for life.
There's a night court session of black court happening right now that you have to go to. Well, they usually go in the morning. I'm telling you, they opened up just for you.
Just for you.
Yeah,
you didn't
good luck
even
with
know
that.
it. Just for you.
Yeah, so I think we have to be mindful of, look what happened even with some of the conversations around the conflict in Israel and Gaza. I mean, there's certain places and certain people who are speaking on it, people who are either affiliated with the community, people affiliated with the respective struggles of those communities, or people who had families and were from those communities. Everyone had certain circles of permission to speak on it. And even when they did speak on it from a place of experience, expertise, knowledge, scholarship, those people were even getting stopped at the gate, like, oh, where you going? You know, I'm a PhD in Middle Eastern studies. Take your PhD,
turn right on around,
and turn around, or I'm going to turn you around. So you just let me know what you want. Do it yourself, or I'll do it for you.
Man.
So I think people, that's missed online because so much of the screen is protecting us. Right? No one's really getting access to you or your VPN. Obviously, if you leave a trail on social media, it can be discovered. I.e., look what's happening now with this, candidate running for governor right now in North Carolina. They just found all his porn comments, and he's saying this about transgender women. Then he's talking about he's fantasizing and thinking about transgender women. He watches transgender porn, and he has a porn addiction. And they traced him back to a public email he's used for multiple sites, back to comments that he made in nude Africa. And he said, I'm a black Nazi. I mean, listen, okay, well, now we have that. Snapshot, file save as, sent to CNN, blockbuster report. He said he's staying in the race. Okay. But, these are the things people have to be mindful of on social media. Obviously, Andrew Schultz is a comedian, operates in the entertainment space. So this is going to be like water to a duck. It's going to roll off him, I believe. But ultimately, I think that's something for all of us as content creators to be mindful of. How do we move in spaces that we are not from, that we may be adjacent to, or spaces that we're trying to enter into because we may want to do business in that marketplace? You got to be mindful of those politics and be mindful of how you conduct yourself.
And navigate those spaces. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you got to go any place that you got to request entry, be mindful of the laws and protocol of that space. But here's one thing I will say, because obviously you said it, that Andrew Schultz is a comedian. Sometimes I feel like people are just looking for a reason to be upset.
That's the other side of it.
It's like, guys, if he told a joke and that was his joke, because a lot of his content is racially charged, if he tells those kinds of jokes and he tells one that you don't like, just chalk it up to he's just being him. I don't know if a lot of the people's rants that are being made about it are necessary, personally.
Yeah, I mean, that's my issue too, that comedy is no longer comedy because of the tone and content police. The challenge I think that arises is it's almost when Kramer, I forgot his name right now, Michael Richardson, had that, he devolved on stage and he was calling people the N-word. And I just saw something from Sarah Silverman when she was on the Seinfeld show. She flubbed a line because she was laying in bed with him. She flubbed a line. She said Michael Richardson went off, like started yelling at her, berating her, and no one in the set was saying anything. Everyone was like, the drapes look really interesting today. I have to go investigate the drapes while this person is devolving right here on set. So she came the next day and tried to talk to her. She's like, so Sarah Silverman was like, nah, you don't get to do that to me in public and just think you're going to flow with me. And she says after that, they became friends. He's called her occasionally because he has a stand-up routine. But I think this is something maybe he's prone to, maybe a part of his character. And when he went through that whole N-word thing, everyone knew that wasn't part of the set.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, he was on they would have been hanging you upside down and all. I was like, damn. So,
yeah, it got real dark.
Yeah, it
got real dark quickly.
Yeah, you went to, when you go to lynching, it's kind of like, all right, that's not just death. That's a form of torture. Lynching is torture. For those who aren't aware of lynching and why it's such a horrible way for someone to die, it's a form of torture that leads to death, similar to crucifixion. That's why the Romans used to give crucifixion, because it was embarrassing, humiliating. You'd be hanging there naked and trying to breathe and trying to get yourself up but dying. And then, eventually they take you down and leave your body there for the dogs to eat. I mean, it's just a horrible, horrible way to die.
And it had a high success rate.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would see people crucified as you came into the city, like, yeah, you saw this dude came here and tried to come to Columbia and get it in, right? You want to get it in? Oh, no, I just want to come see some sights.
Yeah, we thought so. We thought so.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There were some antiquities that I heard were here, and, you start to becoming a Brother X.
Go see Pablo Escobar's house and keep it pushing.
See, what I'm trying to get to is the African man and the black man and the Colombian. Yeah, you stick on that. Stick on that. Yeah, stick to that. Yeah, don't come in here talking about, yo, you all got some fat asses I saw in, Nude Africa. My man Mark Robinson told me. Oh,
That
okay, Mark Robinson. Are you
they got
black Nazi?
they're sicking the dogs on you, and I don't mean canines.
Yes, exactly.
They sending them boys to your hotel.
Oh yeah, yeah, and just escort you out.
Okay.
Yeah. You
You
just be
just see a white pickup truck when you come out, and just hanging
when
out.
they the surveillance photo footage in your documentary. Said, this is a exact photo of him getting into the truck. It's really, honestly, not worth it. And I think we really have to keep that in mind just moving forward. But even for us, with what we do, we have to be mindful of how we incorporate communities and dialogue across communities and also offer our own opinions. I think this is an important practice.